Hi, everyone. I want to welcome a special guest to the show today. Who do we have with us today? We have Raffi Bilek, and I hope I'm not pronouncing your name. If I do,
It rhymes with acrylic.
okay. Who is he? Well, I'm going to give you his bio. Absolutely. The Couples Communications Handbook. That's the book he wrote by, yes, Raffi Bilek offers invaluable guidance on conflict management, family conflict resolution, marriage, and communication, providing couples with the essential skills to strengthen their relationship. As an experienced couples counselor, Raffi Bilek shares his expertise on common issues faced by couples, including communication problems, constant arguing, and lack of communication. The book highlights the importance of learning good communication skills, which can be acquired at any stage of life. With its practical approach, the Couples Communication Handbook empowers couples to improve their communication and build a stronger marriage. I read the book. I highly recommend it. I think you'll find much use out of it, but you have to read it and get it to decide.
To be fair, you can also listen because there's an audiobook.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't know that. I love audiobooks. That's good to know. Thank you for letting us know that. Rafi has been working with couples across the globe for over a decade. Yes, over a decade. He has helped hundreds of couples improve their communication. That's a lot. Wow. Did I leave anything out? Would you like to add anything, Rafi?
Boy, leave anything out about myself. Well, I know how to
Mhm.
ride a unicycle, if that's important information for anybody. I used to own one, but I lost it. I don't know how you lose a unicycle. It's not a small item, but I lost it.
Oh, my goodness. You're funny. I like that. Okay. First of all, where's your book? I don't see it. Can you show the audience your book, please?
Here is the book, The Couples Communication Handbook. The skills you never learned for the marriage you always wanted. Right there. See that? There we go.
I love the cover. What
Thank
inspired you?
you.
That is the cover.
Yeah, we are. I'm actually reevaluating it. It's nice, but it's not so eye-catching. Like if you're scrolling down a whole list of books on Amazon, I'm trying to like stand out more. So it's all right. It's got these nice people on the couch. Those are AI people, by the way. They were completely made up by AI. It's very interesting. So yeah, it's nice, but like when you look at it from like far away, it doesn't like pop out at you. So working on it, working on it.
I like the cover, but
Thank you.
you're
Appreciate
the
that.
expert. All right, I'm going to throw some questions at you. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. What does it take to achieve successful communication in a relationship?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things. Number one, patience, right? Nothing is going to get built overnight. Learning how to do something new is going to take a while. This is not something you learn and then, oh, the next day everything's fine. So it'll take some patience, some struggles. You got two steps forward, one step back. That's a normal thing when you're learning how to do something new. And learning how to communicate is something new for a lot of people. Most of us were not taught this in high school where we could have been taught useful things, but instead we learned trigonometry and world history. Um, and the other thing I think is empathy, meaning you have to care about the other person. If you don't care much about what they have to say, communication won't help that much, right? If you don't care that your partner is happy or sad, excited or nervous, whatever it might be, then all the communication tools in the world won't get you all that far.
Excellent. Very excellent. I agree with all that. I might have to go to your couch and learn some things.
Okay, well, you read the book, so you got a lot out of there already, I hope.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. What do couples tend What, sorry, why do couples tend to find themselves in the same fights over and over again?
This is a great question. Can you hear the buzzing behind me? Or is that not coming through?
No.
No, okay, great. Because I was going to tell the person to stop making noise, but we're good. Why do we get in the same fights over and over? Because people are trying to make their points and not hear the other person's. I think that's what it comes down to. You know, we don't deal with the issue. I want you to know why I don't like this, and you want me to know why it's important that you do it, and we just go back and forth bouncing the same things over and over, and we never get to what's actually driving the issue, which is how I'm feeling about this problem. Right? I might be mad at you. I might feel lonely. I might feel irritated. I might feel nervous about the future. And if all we do is we talk about, okay, how do we get rid of this problem? Right? I don't like the couch where you left it. Well, I think it's important for it to be there. So we can argue about it, and then maybe we'll compromise about putting it halfway there, but then it'll be another fight down the road when somebody trips over the leg. The problem is that I really want to have control in my own house, or that I don't like you telling me what to do, or that I don't think you respect my abilities when it comes to interior design, or whatever it might be. There's something underneath it. And if all we do is we try to shove away the problem by slapping an answer on it or a solution, it doesn't deal with what's actually causing the issue. And talking about that will get us much farther.
Wow. Great. Excellent. I agree. Excellent. Excellent. Guys, if you're listening, you're going to learn a lot. And I'm sure you're going to associate with all these problems. We all have them. Definitely. What's the biggest misconception about communication that you've heard from people? So what's the biggest misconception about communication that you've heard from people? This is an important question.
Boy, there's a lot of them out there, aren't there? I would say one of the common ones that people have heard, a lot of people have heard and try to go with this thing called never go to bed angry, right? That grandma taught, like, oh, you should always kiss and make up before you go to bed. I think that's a major misconception. If you're angry because your spouse did something to you at 11 o'clock at night and you're sitting there stewing and now it's midnight, that is not the time to try to deal with it. We're not good at that. When you're angry, your brain is functioning in a totally different way. Your whole judgment system is off. You are trying to figure out how to get out of the problem as quickly as possible, right? We're in fight or flight, and you're getting ready for a fight, or you're going to shut down and start ignoring or stonewalling or just not being participatory in the conversation. So what happens, as I'm sure anybody can attest, when you try to resolve the fight at midnight, all that happens is now you have a fight and it's 3 in the morning, and you're still fighting until you go to bed exhausted. And then you wake up and the next day is a wreck on top of that. It's okay to go to bed angry, right? That doesn't mean that you yell and scream and put each other down. It means I'm angry at you. I don't want to talk about it right now. We'll talk tomorrow. I still love you and care about you, but I'm mad and I'm going to go to sleep and I'll face the opposite direction in the bed and it'll be awkward and that's okay. Awkward is not wonderful, but it's a lot better than the drag down knockout fights that people have yelling and screaming until all hours of the morning. So I get the impulse to solve it right away. I know nobody likes living in this situation where we're angry at each other. But if you're going to try to resolve every problem as soon as it pops up, there's going to be a lot of fighting and not a lot of resolution.
And a lot of lost sleep, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things look much rosier if you go to bed, handle it
Yeah.
late the
I have
next day.
found that about when you wake up in the morning, about half the things that you were mad about are gone anyways. I was tired, I was hungry, I was stressed. It's
Yes.
really not that big a deal that you left my pencil on that side instead of on that side. It's just, they all
Yes.
get mad
Yes.
about these silly things. But then there's half the things that do need to be talked about, and you'll do a much better job of that after a good night's sleep.
Absolutely. Definitely. Try it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to try it. You'll see it'll work. You'll see. Great advice. Absolutely. What is one takeaway you'd like people to get from your book?
So I think the main thing that I wish people would walk away with is the same idea that you don't need to deal with the problem right now. It often seems like the problem is urgent and we have to talk about it and we can't go to sleep or we can't, go have our dinner or whatever it is. We have to talk about it right now. But again, the reality is when you're upset and ramped up, it's not a good time to talk about a difficult problem. You can't deal with it well. Again, maybe you'll throw some solution at it, but you're not going to feel any better. The problem hasn't gone away. You just shove it under the rug. If you can take a break when something bothers you and you're really irritated and you're really worked up, that's a great time to take a break. Don't deal with the issue. Take some space from each other. It's okay to be mad at your partner. Being angry is not against the relationship. Being angry is a part of a relationship. And how you do that determines how the relationship goes. There's no such thing as a relationship where people don't get mad at each other sometimes. That's a normal thing. Trying to wipe that away because we can't be mad at each other isn't really realistic. So the takeaway is take a break. It's okay. It's not an emergency. Come back to it later when you're calm, and it will go much better. Of course, there's a lot to learn about how to have these difficult conversations and how do we come back and have it. I think a lot of people have trouble with taking a break because we'll never come back and talk about it. And that's true if you can expect that when you get back to talking about it, it'll be another fight. But if you can learn some helpful ways to communicate, which is what the book is all about, then taking a break makes a lot of sense. And then you come back and you have a helpful conversation, one in which you feel connected, one in which you are working together. That does a lot more than just barreling straight forward into an argument and making things worse.
Let me ask you, what made you decide to become, what did we say, a couples counselor? Is that the
Yeah,
title?
sure. Yeah. I got my social work degree in 2009, and I just sort of jumped into the field and I was seeing a bunch of different clients. And I started seeing some couples because I was working for someone else and they would just pass on clients to me. And I just felt really much more comfortable. I felt really in my element working with couples. It suits me. And I really resonate with these ideas and it means a lot to me. And I know from my own life, I put a lot of work into my own marriage, and my marriage is such a valuable part of my life. I would like that for other people. I just think that there's so much value in that, and it's learnable. You can't always learn to get rid of a mental health issue. You can't get rid of depression. You can work with it. You can push through it, um, but you can learn. That's true. To take that back to clarify, you can learn strategies to make it better. But it's a part of a person. But you can learn how to do this communication differently so that your relationship fundamentally becomes something that you love to be in instead of another source of stress for you. And that makes all the difference in a person's life.
I think you need to write book number two because I read the book, but I want even to know more and more now. You're getting me
First, let me become rich and
more.
famous with this one. And once I'm rich and famous, then I can write another book. But right now I'm doing the rounds trying to speak about this one and give people the information they need just for, a great relationship.
Maybe a TV show would be good. I'm telling you, you can give
Do they
advice.
still have those?
Yes, would be good. In my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, he would be very good. Giving advice on the air, we need it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
trying to get out there and help more people. I just think it's so meaningful to have a good relationship in your life. You can have a hard time with a lot of things, but if your marriage is on track, things are good. And you can have a great job and good friends, but if your marriage is not on track, it's hard. It's hard for everybody.
Now, how many years did we say you were doing this for?
So again, I got my degree in '09. That's
Right.
16 years ago. And I don't know when I started really focusing mostly on couples. Somewhere over 10 years, I've really been working on couples mostly.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. If you can share, I'm just curious. When you first got started, did you find it to be hard to get into it? Was it really easy and you just fell right into it? What was your first case? I don't know if we can call it a case, but what
I
was
mean,
your
I do remember my first client. It was not a
client?
couple. I remember my
Yes.
first client, and that was horrible. I feel bad
Oh,
for the guy. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, nobody does. When you just start off, who knows what it was at a training institute, so he knew he was getting a student therapist, and I didn't help the guy at all. And no, I was not helpful at all. And he was like, I was 26, and I think he was 26. And I kind of wanted at the end of the session, I kind of wanted to just switch and be like, okay, let's switch now. I'll tell you my problems, and you'll see if you can help me. Right. So, you have to learn. Everyone goes through it. It's hard at the beginning. You learn the skills, you try it, you fail, you feel like a fool, pick up and try again. But I think that, I got a lot of wisdom from my rabbis, and from the books I've read and from my teachers. And I'm fortunate to have met the people I met who have helped shape me into the person I am and to be able to help other people.
I love your honesty. That's just amazing. When you say rabbis, I always thought of the Lubavitch Rebbe, and I've often gotten so much wisdom from his words and his sayings. Amazing man, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he was just amazing.
He
So
was a great guy for sure. I did not have the merit to meet him. I can't remember when he died, but I think it was before my time.
I was lucky enough to get one of his dollar bills.
You know?
I hold it dear. Yes, I do. Oh my goodness. Wow, we're going to learn a lot. So tell me, what if I left out? What else would you like to share with us? Where do you do most of your writing, your thinking when you're in the zone?
So this book was the product of just, I had to sit down and just coalesce everything. This is the stuff I do day in and day out, both with my clients, in my home, with my wife, and just putting it into an order that was digestible. So, for a while I was getting up an hour early every day and just spending an hour writing, and putting it into form. And then itself was a whole process of writing it. And then there was a process of editing and putting it into a book. And now I'm working on the marketing part because I really like to get the word out there. Because I mean, you saw there's a lot of helpful stuff in there, and I would like to spread it around. It's not easy, there's so much content out there these days. Trying to make a splash is tough, but that's okay. I'm doing the best I can do, trying to get the word out, and I think there's so much here for everyone to benefit from. I don't know anybody who could not stand to improve the communication in their relationship. There's very few of us who just have it down pat naturally and everything's great. Marriage takes work. I've been married for 18 going on 19 years. It's been a lot of work. It's still a lot of work. It's not like I just, everything's great and easy now. I still get irritated at my wife and she gets irritated at me, and that's okay. The point of working on your marriage is not to eliminate the problems, it's to learn how to deal with the problems in a way that you guys feel connected.
Wow. Excellent advice. Definitely true. And you're so honest. I love the honesty. You see, he's telling you like it is. Isn't that wonderful, ladies and gentlemen? Who wouldn't associate with this? It's fantastic. Will there be another book? Please tell me there will be more advice, another book. Tell me you have more in the works.
I would love to be determined when that will be. I don't know if you looked on Amazon. I do have some kids' books that I wrote, which were largely for the social issues we had in my family. So rather than trying to lecture to my kids, we have a book called I Share, and a book called It's Not Fair, because anybody who has kids has certainly heard that line before.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, those are they're written for my kids, and then I made them public afterwards. So all the things that I've had to deal with in my family, you can find out what they are and help your own kids with that. So that's just an easier way to talk to kids rather than trying to tell them what to do. Is show them and tell them a story.
well, I hope I get to read your kid the children's books you wrote too. I love reading and reviewing those too. I read his book, I reviewed it. And I'm trying to let everyone know about the book. What is the name of the book again? Tell us again.
Um,
Show us.
I think there's six of them, six kids books I've written.
Okay.
The first one I wrote was Bossy Bela, and then there's I Share. It's Not Fair. The Very Special Gift. I like that one. That was my favorite. It's about SNES.
Oh,
And the Big, Big, and there's got to be one more. I think I cannot remember. I think there's six. We'll have to find. I'll have to check it out later.
explain sneot because not everyone will know what sneot is.
Modesty. It just means that in our community we dress relatively conservatively, and we're pretty conservative with male-female relations. And it just explains to I have four girls. I have all girls. So just
Oh,
explain to them why that's meaningful. Because for a child, it feels like a lot of restriction for nothing, but there's a lot of meaning behind it. And so it explains it in a way that I think kids can absorb.
excellent. That's good to know. And we have to know where we can purchase your book we were talking about. What's the name of the book again? Show us again,
Well,
please.
this grown-up book is the Couples Communication Handbook, the skills you never learned for the marriage you always wanted. It's on Amazon. You can also pick up the first two chapters for free at thecommunicationbook.com. So if you go to thecommunicationbook.com, you can download the PDF. You can get the first two audio chapters. Check it out. And there's some blog posts there with more information and extra stories and all kinds of useful other information as well. So yeah, hoping people will check it out. If you want to dip your feet in and see what the first two chapters are like before you buy it, go for it. And then no doubt you'll be convinced that there's much in there for you to gain from.
There is much to be gained from your book. I agree because I've read it, I reviewed it, I put a lot of PR to it, and now you're on my show. But the question is, where else can we find you if we want to reach you?
Yeah, the best way, go to thecommunicationbook.com. You can email me from there. I have my private practice website in Baltimore, but I also see people around the world. So that's the best way to reach out. I think it's if you just email me, Raffi at the communication book. But if you go to the communicationbook.com, you can just click there, email me, and people can reach out to me there if they have questions about the book or the material or want some personal help. I'm happy to connect with people and just do what I do, which is try to help people get their relationships to be awesome.
Excellent. I like the book so much. I think I'm going to reread it. It's a book that you have to keep by your side. You read it, but then you want to
Yeah,
refer back to it. So I'm
yeah,
going to read.
it's not something that you'll just pick up in one go. You read it, you get the ideas, you try it, you find out, well, that didn't work, what did I do wrong, you try it again. Like it's the same thing with anything, you know. You don't
Yes,
learn tennis by reading a book and then you're good to go. You try it, you find out it didn't work, you try again, you practice. It's a process. It's a process. But working on the process with your spouse, you know, that's a great project and it feels great and it feels like we're making a difference in our lives.
excellent. Well, I think I'm going to check out your children's books as well because
Go for it.
I didn't know about that. Thank you for telling us. So, thank you for coming on my show. It was an absolute pleasure reading your book, having you on my show. Wow. I hope to have you back on again soon at some point
I'll
and
let you know when the next book is
buy
out.
his book.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you. You want to say anything in closing before we sign off? What would you like to say?
Just wishing everybody that they should have the marriages, the relationships they want, and however you get there is great. And if my book can be a part of getting there, then I'm happy to have it.
Oh, I'm happy I have your book. Thank you for giving it to me. It's
Thanks.
a pleasure. Thank you for coming on my show. Thank you, everyone. We're
Thanks so
signing
much.
off. Books and More 1818. We're everywhere. If you want to follow us, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, X, Blue Ski, you name it. I'm everywhere. I'm on Goodreads if you want to see all my reviews. Of course, my book review of his book is on there too. So check me out. And thank you for coming on the show. Bye, everyone. Bye bye. Bye. Bye bye.